I never thought a birthday party would be the night my entire relationship ended. But here's the thing about disrespect. Once you see it clearly, you can't unsee it. We'd been together for 8 months. 8 months of what I thought was building something solid. She talked about future plans, introduced me to some friends, seemed invested. Sure, there were moments that felt off, but I figured every relationship has those. I was wrong. Her birthday fell on a Saturday, and she'd rented out this event space downtown. Not fancy, but nice enough. Buffet tables lined one wall, DJs setting up in the corner, balloons everywhere. She'd been planning this for weeks, talking about how important it was that everyone she cared about would be there. When I arrived, she greeted me at the door with a quick kiss and immediately pulled me toward a group of people I'd never met. Her college friends, apparently. I extended my hand to introduce myself, trying to be friendly. That's when it happened. She laughed, this weird theatrical laugh, and said, "Don't get any ideas about him. You're just seeing someone temporary." The group went quiet for a second. Then came the awkward chuckles. Someone tried to change the subject, but I just stood there, hands still extended, processing what she'd just said. Temporary. Not my boyfriend. Not even someone I'm dating. Temporary. She wasn't even looking at me. She was watching their reactions, like she was testing how the joke would land. And that's when it clicked. This wasn't a joke. This was her actual perspective on us, said out loud, in front of people who mattered to her. I lowered my hand. The conversation around us continued, but I wasn't hearing it anymore. I was doing math in my head. The venue rental, the catering, the decorations. She'd mentioned splitting costs with a few people. I needed to know exactly what my share was. I excused myself and walked over to the event coordinator near the entrance. Asked for the total bill. She seemed confused but pulled up the invoice on her tablet. I calculated my portion based on the number of people she'd said were contributing, pulled out my wallet, and paid my exact share in cash. Then I walked back to that same group. They were still chatting, drinks in hand. She glanced at me, probably expecting me to have moved past her comment. I looked directly at her and said, "Guess the temporary part just ended right now." Her face changed instantly. The smile dropped. Wait, what? I didn't wait. I turned and walked straight out of that venue. Behind me, I could hear her calling my name, but I kept walking. Got to my car, started the engine, and drove home. My phone started ringing before I even hit the main road. Her name lit up the screen. I let it ring. Then it rang again. And again. Text messages started flooding in. I didn't read them. When I got home, I sat on my couch, opened my contacts, and blocked her number. Done. No yelling. No scene. No dramatic speech in front of everyone. Just a clean exit from something that clearly meant less to her than it did to me. She'd called me temporary in front of her friends. I made it permanent. The silence in my apartment felt different that night. Not lonely, just quiet. Peaceful even. I'd spent 8 months trying to fit into someone's life who saw me as disposable. That ended tonight. My phone buzzed a few more times. Messages from numbers I didn't recognize. Probably her friends. I ignored those too. Whatever explanation she was giving people, whatever story she was spinning, didn't matter. I knew what I heard. I knew what I felt standing there while people laughed. And I knew I wasn't going back. I ordered takeout, put on a movie I'd been wanting to watch, and spent the rest of the night doing exactly what I wanted. No second guessing. No wondering if I overreacted. She showed me who I was to her. I believed her. The next morning, I woke up and checked my phone out of habit. 23 missed calls. Dozens of messages. All blocked numbers now. I deleted the voicemails without listening, cleared the message notifications, and made coffee. First day of the rest of my life. And it started with not being someone's temporary anything. Monday morning hit different. I went to work like nothing happened. Because to me, nothing did happen. I ended something that wasn't working. Simple as that. My coworker Andrew noticed I seemed lighter. Asked if I had a good weekend. I just said it was productive and left it at that. No need to broadcast my personal business. Around lunch, our receptionist came to my desk looking uncomfortable. "There's someone here to see you. Says it's important." I already knew who it was before I walked out there. She was standing in the lobby, eyes red, makeup smudged. The moment she saw me, she started talking fast. Apologizing, explaining, begging to talk somewhere private. I kept my voice calm and professional. "We don't have anything to discuss. Please leave. You can't just throw away 8 months over one stupid comment," she said, loud enough that people were starting to look. "I'm not throwing anything away. You already did that on Saturday. Now I need you to leave before I call security. Her face went from desperate to angry in seconds. You're seriously going to embarrass me like this? After everything, I didn't respond. Just turned around and walked back to my office. Heard the receptionist politely but firmly asking her to leave. When I got back to my desk, Andrew was there with raised eyebrows. Ex-girlfriend. As of Saturday, yeah. He nodded slowly. She seemed intense. She'll get over it. The rest of the week was more of the same. Messages from unknown numbers. Her friends reaching out on social media asking me to just talk to her. I blocked every single one. Changed my lunch schedule so I wouldn't run into her if she tried showing up again. By Thursday, I started noticing something. All those little things I used to do to accommodate her schedule, her preferences, her mood. They were gone. I went to the gym after work because I wanted to, not because she thought I should. Watched whatever I wanted at night. Made plans with my buddy Calvin for the weekend without having to check if it conflicted with her events. Freedom feels good when you didn't know you'd lost it. Friday evening, Calvin and I grabbed burgers at this place I used to go to before I met her. She always said it was too greasy, not her scene. Sitting there, Calvin asked what happened. I gave him the short version. The party, the comment, my exit. She called you temporary to your face? He shook his head. Man, that's cold. It was honest, though. That's how she saw me. Better to know now than a year from now. You seem good with it. I am. You know what I've been thinking about? All the time she'd make these little comments. Like when I'd suggest something I wanted to do, she'd say maybe when you're more established, or that's cute that you think that way. I thought she was just being realistic. Now I see she never took me seriously. Calvin leaned back. You dodge a bullet, brother. Anyone who treats you like a placeholder isn't worth your time. He was right. That's exactly what I was to her. A placeholder. Someone to fill the space until whoever she actually wanted came along. My phone buzzed. Another unknown number. I showed Calvin the screen. How many of those you getting? Lost count. Her friends are persistent. I'll give them that. What are they saying? Haven't read them. Don't plan to. I put the phone face down on the table. Whatever story she's telling them, whatever explanation she needs to give herself, that's her problem. I'm done being part of her narrative. The next morning, I did something I'd been putting off for months. Signed up for this photography workshop I'd seen advertised. She used to say photography was a waste of money unless I was planning to go professional. Like hobbies needed to be monetized to matter. Standing in line to register, I felt good. Not angry, not hurt. Just clear-headed. This was my time now. My choices. No one to dismiss them or make me feel small for having interests. Sunday afternoon, I was cleaning out my closet when I found a sweater she'd left at my place. For a second, I considered the mature thing would be to return it. Then I remembered her calling me temporary in front of a room full of people and laughing about it. The sweater went in the donation bag. That evening, Annabelle, someone I vaguely knew from her friend group, sent me a message before I could block her. It was long, but the summary was clear. She was a mess, refusing to accept it was over, telling everyone I'd overreacted to a joke. I typed back one sentence. If that's what she needs to believe, let her. Then I blocked Annabelle too. The thing about ending something definitively is that people expect drama. They expect back and forth, second chances, big emotional confrontations. When you just walk away and mean it, they don't know what to do with that. I wasn't angry at her. I wasn't plotting revenge. I wasn't even thinking about her most of the time. I was just living my life without someone who didn't value me in it. And honestly, I'd never felt better. By the end of that second week, the messages slowed down. The surprise visits stopped. The friend brigade backed off. Reality was setting in for her, apparently. Me? I was already planning next month. Calvin and I were talking about a camping trip. The photography workshop started in 2 weeks. Work was going well. I wasn't temporary. I was permanent in my own life. And that was exactly where I needed to be. 3 weeks after the party, I was grabbing lunch at a deli near my office when someone approached my table. Jared. I recognized him from the birthday party. He was one of the guys who'd been standing there when she made that comment. Can I sit? He asked, gesturing to the empty chair. I nodded, curious where this was going. He sat down, looked uncomfortable for a moment, then just came out with it. I need to tell you something. And I'm not here because she sent me. She doesn't even know I'm talking to you. All right. That night at the party. What she said. That wasn't a joke. He paused. She'd been telling us for weeks that you were the nice guy she was seeing while she figured things out. Her ex, This guy named Timothy, he moved back to town about a month ago. She'd been talking about maybe giving him another shot. I put down my sandwich. Go on. The party was supposed to be where she introduced Timothy to everyone. You were there as the current guy, but she was planning to end things with you soon. The temporary comment? That was her way of starting to set that up, making it seem casual to everyone so when she broke up with you, it wouldn't look bad. Why are you telling me this? He looked me straight in the eye. Because I laughed. When she said it, I laughed along with everyone else. And I felt like garbage about it ever since. What you did, just getting up and leaving, that took guts. And it made me think about what kind of person I was being, going along with her treatment of you. I leaned back in my chair. Did Timothy show up? Yeah, about an hour after you left. She tried to play it cool, but everyone could tell she was rattled by you walking out. Timothy hung around for maybe 30 minutes and left. Didn't seem interested in whatever she was selling. And now she's telling everyone you overreacted to a harmless joke, that you're being childish and won't even talk to her. But some of us were there. We heard how she talked about you when you weren't around. It wasn't harmless. I picked up my sandwich again. I appreciate you being honest, but there's nothing to fix here. She showed me exactly who she was. I believed her. I get that. I just wanted you to know the full picture, and to say I'm sorry for being part of that moment. You laughed at a joke. She made me the joke. There's a difference. I took a bite. We good? He nodded, stood up. Yeah, we're good. Take care of yourself, man. After he left, I sat there finishing my lunch. So it was even worse than I thought. The party wasn't just about her birthday. It was about replacing me. She'd orchestrated the whole thing, planned my exit, and I just happened to exit on my own terms instead of hers. The funny part? I wasn't even angry, just validated. Every instinct that told me to walk away had been correct. That afternoon at work, I noticed I'd been more focused lately. Projects that used to feel draining were getting done efficiently. Andrew mentioned it too. You've been on fire lately. Whatever you changed, keep doing it. What I changed was simple. I stopped carrying emotional weight that wasn't mine to carry. Stopped trying to prove myself to someone who'd already decided I wasn't enough. That energy went back into my own life, and it showed. The photography workshop started that Thursday. Walking into the community center, I half expected to feel out of place. Instead, I felt excited. The instructor, an older guy named Grayson, had everyone introduce themselves and share what drew them to photography. When my turn came, I kept it simple. I've always liked capturing moments. Just never made time for it before. Grayson nodded. Well, you're making time now. That's what matters. After class, a few of us grabbed coffee. Normal conversation, talking about cameras and lighting and composition. No one was judging whether my hobby was profitable enough or serious enough. It just was what it was. I got home around 9, feeling good. Productive day at work, learned something new, met some decent people. My phone had been quiet all evening. No unknown numbers. No friend interventions. Maybe she was finally getting the message. Saturday morning, Calvin called. Still up for that hiking trail this weekend? Absolutely. What time? We met at the trailhead around 8. Perfect weather, decent crowd, but not packed. Halfway up, Calvin brought it up again. So I heard something through the grapevine. Apparently Timothy, the ex she wanted back, he's seeing someone else now. Started dating her like a week after the party. I laughed. Fast mover. Night? But here's the thing. Word is she tried to reach out to him after you bounced, and he shut her down completely. Told her he wasn't interested in whatever drama she had going on. Good for him. Calvin glanced at me. You're really over this whole thing, aren't you? I was over it the second I walked out of that party. Everything else is just noise. We reached the summit, took some photos, enjoyed the view. On the way down, Calvin asked about the photography class. It's good. Learning a lot. Might actually get decent at this. You were always decent. You just never gave yourself credit. That hit different. He was right. I'd spent so much time in a relationship where my interests were demonized that I'd started demonizing them myself. Now I was remembering what it felt like to just enjoy something without justification. That evening, I went through the photos from the hike. Some were decent, some needed work. I posted a couple online with a simple caption about the trail. Within an hour, people from the photography class were commenting, giving tips, asking questions. A community I actually wanted to be part of. People who shared interests instead of dismissing them. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. The message preview showed before I could stop it. Please just give me 5 minutes to explain. I deleted it without reading the rest. Blocked the number. There was nothing to explain. She'd been clear about what I was to her. Temporary. A placeholder. The guy who filled space until someone better came along. The difference was, I didn't wait around to be replaced. I replaced the entire situation with a better life. And 3 weeks in, that decision felt more right every single day. 5 weeks after the party, I was setting up for a photo shoot at a local park when Annabelle appeared. Not the blocked message Annabelle from before. In person this time. Before you walk away, just hear me out, she said, hands up like she was approaching a wild animal. I lowered my camera. You've got 2 minutes. She sat on the bench next to my gear bag. She's not doing well. And before you say you don't care, I know. I get it. But I'm not here to guilt you into anything. I'm here because I think you should know what's happening. Why? Because you were decent to her for 8 months. And even after what she did, you didn't trash her online or make a scene. You just left. That says something about your character. She took a breath. Timothy rejected her. Not just once. 3 times. She tried everything. He told her he'd moved on and wasn't interested in being anyone's backup plan. I adjusted my lens settings, not really looking at her. And her friends started asking questions. About how she talked about you. About the temporary comment. Some people stopped returning her calls. She's been trying to fix things with you because she genuinely thinks she made a mistake. She did make a mistake. Just not the one she thinks. Annabelle tilted her head. What do you mean? Her mistake wasn't calling me temporary. Her mistake was thinking I'd stick around after she did. I picked up my camera. Is that all? She asked me to ask you to meet her. Just once. To talk. No. Can I ask why you're so certain? No anger. No curiosity about what she'd say. Nothing. I turned to face her directly. You want to know why? Because I already know what she'd say. She'd tell me she was scared of commitment. Or that she was testing me. Or that she panicked because things were getting serious. She'd cry, probably. Say she realizes now what she lost. Ask for another chance to prove herself. Annabelle's silence confirmed I was right. Here's what she won't say. That she saw me as less than. That every time I suggested something I wanted to do, she dismissed it. That she never planned to introduce me to her family because I wasn't serious enough for that. That she kept me around until someone she actually wanted showed up. I put the camera down. I don't need to hear her apology. What I needed was respect, and she couldn't give me that when it mattered. You've really thought about this. I've had 5 weeks of peace to think clearly, and what I've learned is that I'm better off alone than with someone who sees me as temporary. She stood up. For what it's worth, I think you're handling this the right way, and I'm sorry for how things went down at the party. You didn't do anything. I laughed. We all did. That was something. After she left, I went back to shooting. Trees, pathways, light filtering through leaves. Simple stuff. Peaceful stuff. The kind of afternoon I used to sacrifice because she'd need me to go to some event I didn't care about. The photography class had become the highlight of my week. Grayson pulled me aside after the session that Thursday. You've got a good eye? These shots from the park? They're strong. You should consider entering that community exhibition next month. You think so? I don't say things I don't mean. Your composition is solid, and you're improving every week. He handed me a flyer. Entry deadlines in 2 weeks. Give it some thought. I took the flyer home, looked at my recent photos. Maybe I would enter. Why not? 6 weeks ago, I wouldn't have even considered it. Would have dismissed it as not being good enough or worried about what someone else would think. Now, I did things because I wanted to. Revolutionary concept. Work was going well too. I'd taken on a project that required extra hours, but it was interesting work. Andrew noticed I was staying late more often. You trying to make the rest of us look bad, he joked. Just focused. Feels good to dive into something. Breakup energy. I've seen it before. Guys either fall apart or level up. You're clearly leveling up. That weekend, Calvin and I drove 2 hours to check out this camera shop he'd heard about. On the drive back, he brought up something I hadn't expected. So I saw on your photos that Leah from the photography class has been commenting a lot. Yeah, she's good with feedback. Knows her stuff. She's also single. Just saying. I laughed. I'm not looking for that right now. I know. But when you are, just remember you've got options. You're not the same guy who walked into that party 5 weeks ago. He was right about that. I wasn't the same guy. That guy would have second-guessed his decision to leave. Would have wondered if he overreacted. Would have considered giving her another chance. This guy? I knew my worth. And it wasn't determined by someone who called me temporary. Sunday evening, I was editing photos when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost declined it by reflex. but something made me answer. Hello. Silence. Then breathing. Then her voice, quiet and shaky. I know you don't want to talk to me. I just needed to hear your voice. I should have hung up, but curiosity got the better of me. How'd you get this number? Got a new phone. Please don't hang up. I'm giving you 30 seconds. Say what you need to say. I was wrong. About everything. I know that now. Timothy was a fantasy, and you were genuine, and I threw that away because I was stupid and scared and I don't even know what else. I miss you. I miss us. Please, can we just talk? In person? No. Please. I'll do whatever it takes. Counseling, whatever you want. I'll prove that I've changed. You haven't changed. You just didn't get what you wanted. There's a difference. That's not fair. You don't know what I've been through these past weeks. You're right. I don't know. And I don't need to know. What I do know is that I spent 8 months trying to be enough for someone who saw me as a placeholder. I'm done with that. So that's it. You're just going to throw everything away. I didn't throw anything away. You did. On your birthday. In front of everyone. I just respected your decision. It wasn't a decision. It was a stupid comment. No. It was honesty. And I appreciate that you finally told me the truth about how you saw me. Now I'm going to hang up, block this number, and continue living my life. You should do the same. Wait, please. I ended the call, blocked the number, set my phone down. 30 seconds turned out to be enough time. Enough to confirm that nothing had changed except her circumstances. She didn't want me back because she valued me. She wanted me back because her plan fell apart. I returned to editing photos, selected 3 of my best shots, filled out the entry form for the exhibition. Life was moving forward, and for the first time in a long time, I was moving with it on my own terms. 7 weeks after the party, the community photography exhibition opened. My 3 photos were displayed in the main gallery alongside work from people who'd been doing this for years. Grayson had been right to push me to enter. I was standing near my pieces, talking with Leah about composition, when I saw her walk in. She spotted me immediately, started walking over. I excused myself from Leah and met her halfway, keeping my voice low. This isn't the place. I know. I'm sorry, but you blocked every way to reach you, and I needed to say this in person. She looked different. Tired. Can we just go outside and talk? 5 minutes. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We stepped out to the sidewalk. I've been thinking about what you said on the phone, she started. About me only wanting you back because my plan fell apart. And you were right. At first, that's exactly what it was. At first, I've spent 7 weeks replaying everything. Every conversation, every moment. And I realized something. She looked directly at me. I treated you like you were lucky to be with me. Like I was doing you a favor. And the truth is, it was the other way around. I crossed my arms. Where's this going? I'm not asking you to take me back. I know that's not happening. I'm asking you to let me explain why I was the way I was. So at least you know it wasn't about you not being enough. It was about me being insecure. You had a funny way of showing insecurity. Calling someone temporary in front of a room full of people isn't exactly shy behavior. I know. I was trying to control the narrative before Timothy showed up. I thought if I made it seem casual with you, then when I switched to him, it wouldn't look like I was trading up. But you left before any of that could happen, and Timothy didn't want me anyway, and I was left with the reality that I destroyed something good for a fantasy. I watched a couple walk past us into the gallery. You're right that this isn't about me not being enough. But you're wrong about why. It's because I was with someone who couldn't see my value. That's not a me problem. That's a you problem. I see it now. No, you see it now that you're alone. There's a difference. If Timothy had wanted you back, we wouldn't be having this conversation. She flinched. That's harsh. It's honest. And honesty is what you should have given me 8 months ago instead of wasting my time. I wasn't wasting your time. I cared about you. I still do. You cared about what I provided. Attention, stability, someone who showed up. But you never cared about me as a person worth building something with. Every time I wanted to do something that mattered to me, you found a way to make it seem silly or impractical. You know what I've been doing since we ended? All those things you dismissed. Photography, hiking, actually enjoying my free time. And I'm better at all of it because I'm not constantly trying to justify why I'm interested in them. I didn't mean to make you feel that way. Intent doesn't matter when the impact is clear. You made me feel like I needed to earn the right to exist in your world. Like I was auditioning for a role I'd never actually get. I checked my watch. Your 5 minutes are up. Please. I know I hurt you. I know I was selfish and cruel. But people can change. I want to be better. Then be better. For yourself. Not for me. Because we're done. Permanently. She pulled out a folded piece of paper from her purse. I wrote down everything I should have said to you over those 8 months. All the things I appreciated that I never acknowledged. I thought maybe if you read it. I don't need to read it. I didn't take the paper. You want forgiveness so you can feel better about what you did. That's not my job to give you. What you did at that party wasn't a mistake. It was a revelation. You showed me exactly who you were when you thought it didn't matter. I'm grateful for that. Grateful. You could have kept the mask on for another year. Another 2 years. Eventually, I would have proposed, and then what? You would have said yes while still seeing me as temporary? At least this way, I only lost 8 months instead of 8 years. Tears started running down her face. I loved you. I know you don't believe me, but I did. Maybe you did. In whatever way you're capable of loving someone. But it wasn't the way I needed to be loved. It wasn't with respect or partnership or genuine care. It was possessive and conditional and always on your terms. What do I have to do to make this right? Nothing. Because you can't make it right. What's done is done. You made your choice that night. I made mine. We both have to live with it. So that's it. After everything, you're just going to walk away without even considering. I already walked away. 7 weeks ago. This conversation is just you catching up to that reality. I turned to go back inside. She grabbed my arm. Please don't go back in there and pretend like this conversation didn't happen. Like what we had didn't matter. I gently removed her hand. What we had did matter. It taught me what I won't accept in my life anymore. Now I need you to leave. I have an exhibit to get back to. You're really okay with this being how we end? I ended things the night of your party. This is just the epilogue. I walked back inside. Leah gave me a questioning look, but I just shook my head and changed the subject back to photography. A few minutes later, I glanced toward the entrance. She was gone. Grayson came over with a couple he'd been talking to. These are the Bradfords. They're interested in purchasing one of your pieces for their home office. I talked with them about the photo, the technique, the story behind the shot. Normal conversation. Present conversation. Not dwelling on someone who couldn't value what was right in front of her until it was gone. The evening continued. People asked questions about my work. I networked with other photographers. Leah introduced me to someone from a local gallery who was looking for new artists to feature. At one point, Calvin showed up to support me. Saw her outside when I was parking. She leave on her own, or did you have to tell her to go? Bit of both. She wanted closure. Did you give it to her? I gave her honesty. If that's closure for her, fine. For me, I got closure 7 weeks ago. He nodded toward my displayed photos. These are good, man. You should be proud. I looked at my work on the wall. Pride wasn't quite the word. More like satisfaction. Proof that I could invest time in something that mattered to me and actually see results. The exhibition would run for 2 weeks. My photos would hang there, visible, valued, appreciated, by people who didn't need me to justify why I created them or what purpose they served. That night, driving home, I thought about the paper she'd tried to give me. The list of things she appreciated. It didn't matter what was written there. Actions matter more than words, and her actions had been consistent for 8 months. I'd asked for respect. She'd given me dismissal. I'd asked for partnership. She'd given me a role. I'd asked for genuine connection. She'd given me a placeholder position. Some people don't realize what they have until it's gone. That's unfortunate for them. But it's not my responsibility to wait around while they figure it out. I pulled into my parking spot, grabbed my gear from the trunk. Tomorrow I'd follow up with the Bradfords about the photo sale. Check in with that gallery contact. Tonight, I'd celebrate a good opening with some takeout and a movie I'd been meaning to watch. 7 weeks ago, I walked out of a party. Tonight, I walked into a life I actually wanted to be living. The difference was everything. 3 months after that party, I sold my second photograph. The Bradfords recommended me to a friend, and things started rolling from there. Small sales, nothing life-changing, but enough to know I was on the right path. Work was steady. I took on a leadership role in a project that actually challenged me. Andrew and I grabbed lunch most Fridays, talking about everything except drama. The photography group became a regular thing. Leah and I collaborated on a series about urban landscapes. Strictly professional, strictly friendly. She never asked about my past relationship, and I appreciated that. Calvin and I did that camping trip we'd planned. 2 nights in the mountains, completely disconnected. We barely talked about her. There wasn't much to say. She'd become a footnote in my story, not a chapter. I heard through Jared that she'd moved to a different city. Fresh start, apparently. Timothy got engaged to the woman he'd been seeing. The friend group that witnessed everything had mostly scattered. Some took sides, most just moved on. I ran into Annabelle one last time at a local event. She mentioned that my ex had reached out to her recently, asking if I ever talked about her. What did you tell her? I asked. The truth, that you seemed happy and focused on your own life. And what did she say? Nothing, just went quiet. Annabelle smiled. I think that was harder for her to hear than anything else. I didn't feel satisfaction from that, just indifference. She'd become someone I used to know, someone who taught me what I wouldn't tolerate anymore. The lesson stuck. I dated casually after that, but with clear boundaries. The first time someone made a dismissive comment about my interests, I addressed it immediately. No second chances for disrespect. No waiting around to see if people would change. Some women appreciated the directness. Some didn't. Either way, I learned that being alone was better than being undervalued. That birthday party 3 months ago did me a favor. It showed me exactly what I was to her before I wasted years figuring it out. She called me temporary to my face, and I made the ending permanent on my terms. People ask sometimes if I regret how I handled it. Walking out without a big confrontation, without trying to work through it. The answer is no. She didn't respect me enough to have that conversation privately before humiliating me publicly. I didn't owe her an explanation after. I learned something important that night. Your worth isn't determined by how someone treats you. It's determined by what you accept. I stopped accepting less than I deserved. 3 months later, I'm building a life on my terms. Taking photos that matter to me. Working on projects that challenge me. Spending time with people who add value instead of taking it. That's not temporary. That's permanent. And I'm exactly where I need to be.